Hey everybody, welcome back to Small Talk Japan. We got a fantastic show for you today, and Alex is back.
Hello.
From England. We're going to talk about that. Yep. We're going to talk about the Japanese economy. We're going to talk about COVID shots. We're going to talk about lots of stuff, including a train driver that once got gypped out of 45 cents. There's tragic news with that story. We'll get to that. We'll also talk about how you can get your signature Incon with a Godzilla kaiju on it.
Oh, nice.
Which, that's a lot of Japanese things in one sentence. And we'll also talk about Mila Jovovich's daughter. Roll that intro. Like he's like scrambling to press the button. So we're supposed to talk over this intro, and I was thinking about this last time, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to change this intro?
I think we should make a new one.
What do you want to put in it?
I don't know, more of me.
just all Alex.
Just me, basically.
No Natsuki, no Mitch. Just all Alex.
Just all me from the start to the end.
We should probably throw like a little bit of Josh in there as well. I feel like there's not enough Josh in there.
Maybe we should do something in here, in the studio.
For the intro?
Yeah, coming to the studio. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Also, this picture is pretty old.
I look quite thin on that. I like it.
Okay, we'll keep it that way. So I've been losing weight recently. I think I've lost like 2 kilograms or something like that.
I've been on and off.
You went so you went to England. We kind of hinted at this like 3 shows ago.
Yeah.
Why did you go to England? It was kind of secret until you did it. Now you did it. So what was it?
Oh, so I went to the opening of Japan Courts and Culture, which is like an exhibition of Japanese art and things like that that's on at the Queen's Gallery, which is next to Buckingham Palace. In London, yeah. So I went to see a private viewing of that, and then after that I went to see family and, did a few other business things as well. Why
were you invited to this? There was like a reason, right?
So a couple of years ago, we had some, curators from the Royal Collection come over here and have a look at the gifts that the Shimazu family had and had sent abroad and things like that. And
so wait. Historically, can you fill in our listeners? So Shimazu made some gifts for England, right? What was it?
So there's two general areas. So basically, I think it was 1863.
1860s.
1860s, yeah. The Shimazu sent to England some students, 15 students, I think.
Those are the Satsuma students.
Yeah, the Satsuma students, 19 people altogether. They went over to London and studied at University College London. And when they went over there, they were given some gifts to take over to Queen Victoria. Because Japan and England, especially Satsuma, Kagoshima and England had a bit of a conflict before that.
It's called the what is it called? Sino-Satsuma War, was it in English?
No. So it's in Japanese, people call it Satsue Senso, which means the Satsuma English-British War.
Yeah.
But in Britain, it's called the Bombardment of Kagoshima.
I think Wikipedia calls it something else.
No, they call it a Bombardment of Kagoshima.
Yeah, but it's long story short, basically, there was a ship in the harbor and then some things happened. The ship fired a bunch of cannonballs at Satsuma. Satsuma fired back. Satsuma considered it a win because they killed one of the captains, but the city was leveled.
Yeah, that's not true. Kagoshima fired first.
Really?
Yeah. And the British woke up thinking that it was like a morning cannon to sound the time in the morning.
Oh, okay.
But then they realized they were being shot at. And the reason they started shooting at them is because the British fleet, the 7 ships that were in there, burnt down 2 ships that the Kagoshima side had moored on Sakurajima.
Really?
Yeah, and
that was because two sailors were disrespectful to a samurai or something like that.
No, that's wrong.
What is it?
So
this is what I've been told. Okay.
No, there's a merchant called Charles Lennox Richardson, who was in Namamugi, which is close to Yokohama.
Okay.
On an expedition, with several friends or whatever.
Okay.
And they rode across the procession of the feudal lord's father.
Okay.
Which is incredibly rude. You're supposed to dismount and kind of bow while they go past.
So they didn't do this on purpose? They didn't understand?
This is an issue of contention. Nobody really knows. But they got mingled up in the kind of litter somehow, the parade.
Yeah.
And they got very, very close to the kago, the kind of palanquin that the guy was in.
Yeah.
So that's when the samurai kind of lost it and cut them down. So they killed the British guy, and then they cut at somebody else who was in the procession, and there was a woman called Mrs. Borrowdale with them as well, and they cut her hat.
They cut her hat?
Yeah, they tried to swing at her, and they just clipped her hat.
Okay.
So basically, this was a huge issue. The British were really pissed off about it and sent 7 warships into the bay at Kagoshima a year later.
Why didn't they send it to Yokohama? Like, why?
Because it was Kagoshima people that did it.
Oh, okay.
It was the Kagoshima procession in Yokohama, right?
I see.
Because they were heading to the capital city. And then basically, just to make peace, after all this, they sent some gifts to England. So one of them's like a big osakazuki. It's a big 50 centimeter across sake bowl or dish.
Yeah.
And it's got really lucky symbols on it, like cranes and tortoises that are supposed to live for 1,000 years and 10,000 years. And Uba and Jo from Takasago, which is like a no play. So two lovers that are reunited after a very long time. So it's like a symbol of like, let's be friends, basically.
Because when I go to Sengayen, there's photos of like the Shimazu family like hosting various people from all over the world.
Oh yeah,
like historically speaking. I mean, it was like quite the place.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's interesting to see because like in 1921, I think the Crown Prince of Japan, what was Hirohito, I think it was then, went to England and he met the royal family and he was photographed with the Prince of Wales and they just stood next to each other. Like, there's no Asian country anywhere that would have been able to do that.
Really?
At that time. Like on an equal level.
Yeah.
So it was really super unusual. So the Japanese, imperial line and, European powers tended to get on well because they've had such a long history, I think. You know what I mean?
I've when you study world history, the Japanese culture and the country here, the history here is just kind of unique in Asia. They really are. The history goes back so long. It's, I don't know. It just seems like, I mean, it's an island country, so it's not been affected by various warring warlords in Asia and stuff like that. But it is really interesting.
But the culture's come from China. It's come through Korea as well, probably from China. And then it's kind of not stagnated, but it's kind of developed on its own in Japan.
Galapagos.
Yeah, it's gone a bit Galapagos, right? So,
I was watching this Shogunate, which, by the way, if you guys don't subscribe to this YouTuber, he's really cool. I was talking to him a little bit in mails too. The Shogunate, it's really, really good. During my workout, I was relearning the Shogun history and stuff like that. I was surprised to learn that a lot of the Shoguns were Christian at that time, during like the Sekigahara and stuff like that.
Were they?
Yeah. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know. Not a lot of them, but a few of them were.
A few of them were, yeah.
And,
so
I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Didn't know that.
A few daimyo were, yeah. I think Otomo Sorin was one who's particularly... Yeah.
So getting back to England, really. No, wait. I wanted to comment. Those students that Satsuma sent abroad, 17 in total.
Yeah, 19,
19, sorry. They all came back except for one.
Yeah.
And he went to California and he was like, I'm not going back. I'm making a winery.
Yeah.
And now there's like Satsuma themed wine from in California. I forgot the name of it though.
So Nagasawa. Yeah. So Napa Valley, I think he went out to.
He like went to California. He's like, nope, not going back.
So he made quite a fortune out there.
Really?
Quite a lot of money. And he got in with an English guy who was kind of a member of a Christian cult. And they used wine during Prohibition as well.
Really?
They ignored Prohibition and said it's for religious purposes. But they also had a bit of a kind of sex cult thing going on.
Sounds fun.
So it sounds pretty good, actually. You know what I mean? I'll be up for that.
Wine in a sex cult in Napa Valley sounds like fun.
Yeah. One of the heads of the Shimazu family went over there, actually, in... I can't remember what year it was now. I'd have to look it up.
But he came back, right?
No, he went over to visit the area and actually got photographed with loads of Hollywood stars at the time.
Really?
This is like pre-talkies, so it's still kind of silent movies and stuff. And he went up to meet Nagasawa, and apparently Nagasawa just got on his knees and did dogeza.
Oh wow!
On the floor,
yeah,
put his head on the floor.
It's basically like his lord, right?
Yeah. And he kind of basically did an MBA program and then just disappeared. You know what I mean?
The person from...
Yeah, because they sent him to England. They spent loads of money sending him secretly to England to study for a year. And then he came back and just went, bye. So it's kind of like doing an MBA course at your company and disappearing the next day.
Just leaving. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you went to England, right? And you mailed me, you like mingling with like upper level people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I can't really talk too much about that.
Can't say the names, but there's, some... important people.
Yeah, but some fairly important people, yeah. And
is there a difference in the way that you talk to important people in England versus like...
Just less swearing. Less swearing. A bit more of an affected southern accent, probably. Bit less northern.
Is it? Can you do that? Is like something you can
Tiny
do?
bit, just tweak it. I went to private school, so you
I went to private school.
But it's that kind of thing. Anyway.
Is it in England? Private school is better than public school, or public school is better than private school? Which one is it?
Well, private school is public school. That's what we call it.
What?
So it's confusing, isn't it? So I'm a public school boy.
Which one is the better to get into?
Public school, so private schools.
That you don't make any sense. What are you talking about?
So the state schools.
Okay.
The state schools are the ones that are run by the government, which don't cost any money apart from taxes, obviously, to go to.
Okay.
And then the public schools or private schools are the ones that you have to pay to go to.
Oh, so you guys use public as in people make it, so it's public.
Yeah.
Not
Instead
state.
of state. Yeah.
We use public as in it's made by the state.
Yeah. So it's a bit confusing.
Just like you guys, if you guys have never talked to a British person about floors in a building, they're fucking wrong, okay? First floor is ground floor in England. The second floor is first floor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, you don't have to abide by it if you don't want to, but you're not going to get very far in London.
You're not going to get very far in London.
Be on the wrong floor all the time.
Anyway, was it you visited your family?
Yeah, the biggest shock to me was getting off the plane.
In England or in Japan coming back?
Going actually was a shock as well.
Okay.
So we had to fly. We couldn't fly over Russian airspace, so we flew around Russian airspace, which took like 16 hours to get to Vienna.
Jesus.
Refueled Vienna to Frankfurt, Frankfurt to London. And then when I got to London, kind of get off the plane, I slept one night at the airport because I was exhausted, and then went into town, and nobody was wearing a mask.
No one.
Apart from me and Asian people.
Asian people.
Basically. Like
did as you were walking down the street, did you find Asian people like, we're friends?
They're all looking at me like,
friends."
they're kind of looking like, mask wearer. No, there's a few people wearing them on the underground and a few people wearing them out in town, but very few.
Yeah.
No partitions, no nothing, no social distance.
Oh, you mean you didn't have the clear piece of plastic between you and the cashier?
No, totally over it, man. Over Corona.
How did you feel about that going there?
It was a bit of a shock actually at first, because obviously you used to wearing masks and stuff in Japan.
We still, if you guys go outside in Japan, everybody's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
There's partitions everywhere.
So 2-3 days it took me to, to think, well, sod it, whatever. And then I was there for 12 days, 14 days maybe, and nothing, didn't catch anything.
Just didn't wear a mask the whole time?
No, just didn't wear a mask, nothing, just regular.
Going out to restaurants, drinking?
Yeah, meeting people. I mean, I don't really touch my face much, and I do wash my hands regularly anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm a fairly clean person, I like to think.
Tell us about when you came back into the country. What was it was an ordeal, right?
Oh, coming back was a nightmare, yeah.
What
Terrible.
happened?
So flying back to Japan wasn't really so bad, I suppose. I heard that getting into Germany, you needed a negative PCR test.
Okay.
Or an antigen test within 48 hours of departure.
You should do antigen because those don't show up anything.
But before that, I did a PCR test 72 hours before departure, which is good enough for Japan.
Okay. But not good enough for Germany.
For Germany. So I paid about £150, which is about...
$180 or something?
Yeah, something like that. For a bunch of tests. Mm-hmm. And didn't need any of them.
You were negative for everything.
No, I didn't need them. They didn't check them when I went through. So I went through to Frankfurt and then flew through to Japan. I did have to show some documents to the people in Frankfurt to get on the ANA flight back.
Did you get to use your awesome vaccine passport, this thing?
They did look at that, but I only got 2 times, right? Not 3. Yeah. So basically when you come back to Japan, you have to quarantine. So the basic quarantine is 7 days.
Even if you're 3 shots, you still quarantine, but I think it's only 3 days.
No, you don't have to do it all.
Really? They changed it? Okay.
Yeah, changed it. But the amount of documentation you've got to provide to get back into the country is a bloody nightmare.
What do you got to provide, other than your passport?
So you've got to install 3 apps on your phone.
Tell us about this. This is hilarious.
The first one you've got to install is the Cocoa.
Okay.
Which basically tells you if you're in close contact with somebody who's got COVID.
Which I've had in my phone from the beginning of the pandemic.
Hilariously, that sent me an alert 15 days after I'd been in proximity to somebody for 80 minutes, it said.
Really?
15 days later. What a joke.
There's a Reddit post on a person who tested positive and how that system works. A doctor has to post a letter to these people, and then they input it into a computer, and it sends people messages.
Is that what happens?
None of it's automatic.
Oh my god. So Cocoa you need your vaccine passport application, which is what you've got there, and then you also need something called My SOS.
Now tell us about that.
Now My SOS is the one that's really scary, to be honest with you, because when you come into the country, you've got to sign a form, and the form basically says we essentially have the right to get rid of your visa status.
Yeah.
To deport you from Japan.
Now, you're a permanent resident like me, right?
if you don't cooperate with us.
Yeah.
And then there's a checkbox for we're allowed to take audio recordings, video recordings, location data, basically. And it doesn't say when they're going to take that. There's no specification whatsoever as to when they're actually going to be listening to you or whatever. So you put this application into your phone, and then they set it up for you at the airport. They make you give them the phone to them.
So they do it. So they touch everybody's phone.
Yeah,
that's
and they
good.
Put all the location information on.
That's good. So they just touch everybody's phone. That's good.
Yeah, touch everybody's phone. Mess around with the settings.
Do they touch you in the face? Do they put their fingers in your mouth?
They put your finger in the mouth like that, and then touch your eyes, and cough in your face. Open your mouth up, cough inside,
like a bird feeding its young.
So you go through all this rigmarole, and there's so many stations at the airport. I mean, it's fairly efficiently done. You walk.
Well, they've been doing it for 2 years.
I know you walk a long way. It's not like a short walk. It's miles you walk through. And there's all these people kind of going, oh, dude,
this is like my PCR test. It's just similar to this. Everybody touched my phone. Everybody told me what Scotty Summit is. I don't know why.
In a chipper kind of way.
Yeah, they're all super happy, and they're like wearing face shields and like full-on hazmat suits and shit.
I'm jet lagged, no sleep, exhausted,
maybe hungover.
Slightly hungover. And I'm just like, do not speak to me. But anyway, go through all that, and then you have to sit around. I had to sit around for a PCR test at the airport.
You have to do one when you come in.
Even though I had one with me that was 72 hours before departure.
You might have caught it on the plane, which wouldn't show up on a...
That's fine to get through. And I gave it to the person and said, look, I've got this. And then they gave me the thing to spit in to do the test. And I was like, why do I need to do this again?
Oh, God.
So it's a total joke.
PCR doesn't even work.
Yeah, I know. It's just...
Yeah. So like one of my friends, he was in a cluster, right? In an underground idol event. There's like 70 of them. They all got COVID. They all had fevers. They all had sore throats. People with fevers and sore throats went to go get PCR tests, and they tested negative. Right. They're like, are you sure?
Yeah. Come on. So basically, I went home. You're allowed to travel on public transport.
Oh, now, because before you had to hire a private car that was COVID equipped to take you from the airport to quarantine.
Right.
Which was like incredibly expensive.
So they don't do that anymore. You're allowed to travel back to your house as long as it's within 24 hours journey from the airport.
Okay. So you can't go party somewhere and then go home.
No, you can travel back to your house. It doesn't say what you can do on the way back to your house.
Okay.
There's no specification there.
So if you stop at McDonald's or something, that's cool.
That's fine. It doesn't. There's nothing about that. And then when you get to your house, you have to press this button that says "I'm home."
And you got 24 hours to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you've pressed that, it's basically you're locked in then
for 7 days.
For 7 days. So when they text you, they'll send you a notification saying "Press the I'm here" button, and you have to press it to show where your location is.
And that sends them a GPS readout.
Obviously, yeah. So I guess they're not recording all the time. Who knows? And then sometimes they'll phone you up using an in-app, very similar to Zoom type thing.
Now, this is hilarious because I was talking on the phone with you about some business shit, and then you got one of these phone calls.
Yeah.
So what is it? Can you explain it to us?
So I put you on hold, and then it comes up, and it's like a kind of outline of your head like that, where your head should go. And you have to line it up with that. And you have to show them the background of where you are.
So they know it's your house.
So they know it's your house. But I mean, how do they know what your house looks like?
But can you see them?
No, there's nobody on the other side. And it just says recording in the top right.
That's creepy as fuck.
So there's either somebody watching it in real life and checking, or it's like basically just pre-recorded and then they use...
Putting it in a database somewhere.
Database or AI or whatever.
What I imagine is that some dude that has a fetish for this shit is watching that live.
It's probably, yeah.
just like enjoying himself.
Yeah, personally injuring himself. So you do that and you just stare at the thing for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it just goes, thank you for your cooperation, and closes.
Oh, that is such a thing in Japan. I forgot what the Japanese, but they translate it into thank you for your cooperation. That's what it is, yeah. And it's just like... in Japanese, it's like, thank you for, I guess it's for your cooperation, but it sounds so like authoritative in English.
Yeah, it sounds like Big Brother, doesn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So I had to do that. And sometimes they do it 3 times a day, like just at random times.
Is it middle of the night and stuff like that, or just like daytime?
Just like waking hours generally.
So there is somebody watching. He's like in an office somewhere.
Yeah, it makes sense.
With his hand in his pants.
And then you have to do a health report every day in the app as well.
What does that mean?
Do I have a fever over 37 point whatever degrees? Does anybody have a fever or a cough in my household? You've got to press the buttons and then press OK, and that's it. And then after 3 days of this, if you can provide a negative PCR test from one of their specified locations, you're allowed to leave
After 7 days.
after 3 days.
Of that.
So yeah, you do 2 days in quarantine, and then the second day you can book a test.
Oh, so if you don't do the test, it's 7 days, but if you test again negative, then it's 3 days.
Yeah. So I booked a test on the second day. I took it on the third day, and then I had to do a load of rigmarole, uploading the data to some website or whatever. And then I got a alert at about 9 p.m. on the third day that said you're clear to leave.
You're
now.
good.
So about 9 a.m. on the fourth day, I went into work, and then about 9 a.m. I deleted everything and reset my phone as well.
Can I ask you about, now, what language is this in? Because if you're a traveler and you're coming to Japan, is this all in Japanese?
Oh, it's in English.
It's in English.
A lot of it's in English, but the English is kind of weird. It's not perfectly written.
It's like my boat test. My boat test was like 3 questions gave all different answers. And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this situation. Can you please tell me normal English?
Yeah. Or put it in Japanese at least. So when I came into the country, it said, if you can't provide a mobile phone that can install these applications, you will have to rent one.
Like a burner phone for your COVID quarantine.
Yeah. So the checkbox that they had said, I will rent a phone, yes or no. And the woman at the thing was telling me you have to check yes. And I was like, I have got a phone.
You have to check yes.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't think you understand what this English means.
Oh, she was confused.
Yeah. So I turned it over to the Japanese and I read the Japanese out and I said, look, this is no, isn't it? And she went, and then I turned it over again and she went, check yes. So I was like, have you got some kind of, are you having a stroke? What's wrong with you?
Do you have a learning disability?
Yeah, it was just hard work. But, I got back in and...
You sent me papers that had the rules. That was ominous, man. It was like, you said to me later on, you're like, I'm pretty sure this is illegal.
I'm sure that's I'm sure it's a Hague... Human Rights Convention violation. I'm pretty sure it is,
I don't think Japan's a member. I don't think they give a shit.
Yeah, they don't care, do they?
They're like,
abduct children and all kinds of shit here.
Yeah, that's man.
But
you made it.
Yeah, I made it. And the funniest thing was, compared to that, going into England was basically just walking up to a guy with my passport and going like that, and he was like, all right, mate.
No mask.
In you go. So I think Japan's really got to sort its shit out with the borders.
How was visiting the family? I haven't seen my family in 4 years.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. It was, you slip back into it, don't you? The routine and stuff, and you go and see them. So yeah, it was nice to see them.
You didn't have any, other than the COVID thing, you didn't have any reverse culture shock? Oh my God, this is so weird.
Not a great deal, no. I mean, I did forget how to use a supermarket in England.
What do you mean?
Because in Japan...
The trolley's not free, right?
No, it's free, but when you get to the place to pay, what's it called?
The cashier. The register.
The register, there's a conveyor belt, and you put your stuff on the conveyor belt, and it moves along.
Oh my God, when I went to Costco, I forgot how to do this, and I had to relearn it really quick.
Yeah.
I forgot.
You have that in America as well,
Yeah,
right?
everything's like a conveyor belt.
So you take your items out of the thing and put them on, and it goes along.
The little divider stick.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that when I went to Costco. I know exactly what you're saying.
I put the thing down, and I was just like, what do I do? And the person's looking at me like, is there something wrong with you?
And you're like, what help? What do I do in this situation?
Yeah. And then everything's touch and pay, right? Touch and go, whatever the card payment.
Wireless, yeah.
My card, my new one, the one I just got, works with that now.
Yeah.
And it never used to. So everywhere I went, can I pay with the card? And they're like, yeah, go on, just tap it on there. And I was like, this card doesn't do it. And they're looking at me like, what? Because all cards in England do it now.
Yeah.
And then you have to explain, it's a card from Japan, so it's different. And they go, why have you got a Japanese credit card? And this happened at every single store I went to. So then I just thought, I'll just try it out, because it never worked before. And it just went through. I was like, yes. No more explanations.
So my Amex card is metal.
Yeah.
It's a metal card, and there's signs all throughout Japan that says we do not accept metal cards.
Right.
And I ignore those signs and put my metal card into the reader. It works every time.
Yeah.
I think they're just afraid of it or something like
chip.
that. Yeah, I'm like, what is this? I just ignore it and put my card in.
Yeah.
But what kind of food when you go to England? When I go back to America, top 3 are In-N-Out, have to eat In-N-Out.
Right.
Then there's Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Then there's gotta go to Chipotle.
Right.
Taco Bell. It's my list of shit I got. Junk food.
Right.
What do you eat when you're in England?
I usually, obviously, curry. Yeah, takeout.
You guys got great kebabs as well.
Kebabs, yeah, doner kebab, yeah.
Your kebab shops, I've seen this on the internet, they turn into discos in the middle of the night. What's that about?
What?
I've seen video of like kebab shops in London with people like jumping and dancing with a DJ in them.
Yeah, that might happen, I guess.
It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I've been to one at like 4 a.m. Shit-faced.
Like a kebab shop.
Yeah.
It's like ramen. Like in Japan, we get drunk and eat ramen and then go home. You guys eat kebabs and go home.
Yeah, do a kebab, right? Yeah. And what else? Curry, fish and chips, obviously. Have that once at a good chip shop. Pub lunch. What else? Pies. Yeah, lovely
meat pies. You guys do non-sweet pies.
Steak and ale pie with vegetables and stuff like that.
Do you get fat when you go home? I do.
Yeah, usually. This time I tried a bit of a keto diet. So.
Yeah. Keto's the way to do it, man.
Yeah.
You eat all the shit you want to eat with none of that carby stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
It works, doesn't it?
It does. You get thin.
No, it really does work.
The only thing is if you're combining keto with like running,
right.
It sucks.
Right, yeah.
Because you don't have the calories for it.
Right, I see. Yeah.
You don't have the fuel for it, so that sucks.
Yeah. So, that was about it. And obviously beer and just like, junk food and stuff, basically. But
when you come back to Japan because we're lifers here, right? When you come back to Japan, do you feel like, oh God, I'm glad I'm home?
It's always difficult coming back because it's like half of you thinks, because especially where I live, or my parents live anyway, about 10 minutes away from it is some of the most beautiful countryside in Britain or even Europe, maybe.
I didn't appreciate the countryside in England until I watched what's it called? That farm show.
Clarkson's
Farm.
Yeah.
That's when I started to appreciate the rolling, like, because that was the imagery of the Shire in The Hobbit.
Right.
The rolling hills of England and everything. And so like, I didn't appreciate that until I saw that anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, like when I saw that, I was like, yeah, it's quite a nice life out here, actually.
You came back, the first thing you said to me is like, I'm going to quit all the things I don't want to do.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You had like a change of heart in England.
Yeah, so I mean...
You're quitting radio.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So I just got to, focus on the things that I need to do.
Yeah, no distractions.
Yeah, without distracting myself too much. Because a lot of things take up a lot of time, but they don't actually lead to any particular advantage, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and cut those things out as much as possible.
Is this like did you come to terms with this when you were in England looking at the rolling hills or something like that?
Well, I had a bit of time to breathe, to actually think about stuff. Because if you're always doing something, you never have any time to sit back and just think. Yeah. And literally from morning till night, every day, I was doing something. So actually to have, 4 or 5 days of just nothing was very refreshing.
You reset.
I did reset. And it's made me a lot happier in Japan for doing that.
Do you feel like, I'm this way, do you feel like when you're in Japan, you can't stop working? Like there's no off?
Yeah, there is no off. No, there's always something, and even if it's not just work, it's always a family commitment or some school thing, and even if it's not me doing it, it's like somebody else in the family's doing it. There's PTA, something or other, and they're busy, so you feel like you should be busy, and you can't really just switch off.
It's hard to switch off, especially when everybody around you is working.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just sit down and not do anything. I've been trying to do it for like the last week, just to give myself a little bit of vacation so I can reset mentally, because I've been so stressed until like about a month ago, and it's hard.
I think my problem and your problem as well is that we can't coast.
No,
we're not people who can just coast along, and a lot of people in Japan can do that. They do.
I can be non-participatory, or I can be 100% full bore.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah,
I can't do like 20%.
No, I think a lot of people can get away with just going to the job and kind of having
showing
a lazy
up.
day and not doing so much work, and then just go home on time or whatever. But
I got to get shit done.
But I don't feel satisfaction from that, and I also feel, I'm wasting my time.
But don't you also feel, this is going to get really like deep, but don't you also feel like when you're busy at work all the time that you don't notice the passage of time?
That's true.
I made my school, I looked down, I looked up, and I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy. It feels like 3 days ago I made my school.
Yeah.
And it was 13 years ago.
Yeah. No, it's crazy, man, isn't it? So now I think focusing on what you want to do, that's the rule from now on, I think. And I'm already getting pretty busy.
Things coming back.
Things are lining up, so the wave is building, and it's going to crash in probably next month, end of next month.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think you and I can do like 20, 30%. We 110% or zero.
No, but even when you say you're going to stop doing everything, you end up doing it anyway. You remember Ted when we did that?
Oh, dude, I think we should do it again.
No, don't. Because every time we said we were never going to do it again,
we did TEDx Kagoshima. We had like, I don't know, 500 people attend, great speakers. We did it year after year after year.
Yeah.
Every time the day of the show, we're never doing this again.
Yeah.
And then we finally stopped doing it.
Yeah. And you want to do another one?
Because it was
wrong with
fun.
you?
It was fun. I didn't have to coach the speakers like you did. That was a nightmare.
That was horrible.
I just edited the videos afterward. All right, let's get to the news today. Talking about career stuff. I don't know what show it is. Maybe Josh can look it up. But there was a train driver for JR and he sued JR because. I'll just read it to you. In June 2020, the train driver reportedly waited for an empty train at the wrong platform, causing a 2-minute delay. West Japan Railway Company then deducted 85 yen, about 66 cents, from the driver's payroll. However, the company reduced it to a 1-minute delay after Okayama Labor Standards Inspection Office became involved and deducted 45 cents instead. The train driver then attempted to sue West Japan Railroad Company in March 2021 but was unsuccessful. So basically, he said that because in the end, he kind of sped up a little bit in the train, and the train, I think, arrived on time or something like that, or just a little bit late. Anyway, he sued them, and we talked about this on the show before, but there's two developments in the story that I want to discuss. One, the train driver fucking died of something. It doesn't say why, some illness. So today's show is dedicated to homebro 66 cents deducted from his payroll from JR West. I don't know. It doesn't say his name, but this show is dedicated to you. And also in his death, Judge Hisanori Okuno ruled on Tuesday that the train driver will be posthumously compensated after concluding that the man immediately recognized and corrected his mistake. So he got his money back after he died.
Wow.
66 sorry, 45 cents.
Petty, isn't it, really?
No, but it's a win for homebro train driver.
Yeah.
Buy
an extra flower for his
Oh my god.
It's very dark, that, isn't it?
Your wife.
Yeah.
Did you teach her dark humor?
I think it just rubbed off. To be honest with you. Yeah.
She can cut deep sometimes.
Yeah.
I forgot what she said to me over Christmas. She made my mouth drop. I was like, holy shit, that's painful.
Yeah, I know. She can get you quite well, can't she? I know. It's that.
Anyway, let's continue the news. But today's show is dedicated to Mr. We'll call him 45 for the 45 cents. 45. All right, Japan Moles, another one of these titles. Moles considers... Mm-hmm. A fourth vaccine shot for the elderly and chronically ill patients. So Israel did this. It actually mentions this in the story. Israel did a fourth shot pretty quickly. And the data came out that it basically doesn't do anything for... I'm not a doctor.
I know.
But it basically doesn't do anything for young people. But it does have... It has seen some positive effects in elderly people over 60 and people with... what is it called? Previous existing
underlying conditions.
Other cohorts and blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
So as somebody who had the third shot, I'm not probably going to get a fourth shot just because I think 3 is good.
Well, I thought 2 was good. So I'm just staying with 2.
Well, okay, so I got Pfizer, Moderna, which seemingly that's like good to mix and match.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just good. But I think what's going to happen, Alex, I think that the government here is going to be like, they're not going to mandate it, but they're going to be like, every year, flu and COVID shot.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? You going to get it?
I never really subscribed to the flu shot either, to be honest with you.
I get a flu shot every year just to say that I got it.
I don't bother because, I mean, the variant of flu that is going to be prevalent that year, it's just a guess. So.
But it's better than zero protection.
Well, that's true. It's better than zero. But if you're not in a vulnerable group, I don't see why you should do it.
Yeah.
I think
we get it because at the school, we're exposed to all the disease-carrying children.
That's true. Children are filthy.
No, they really are. Guys, if you've never had kids, have been around kids, Josh, tell us, how sick were you with your first year being a teacher?
I was sick all the time.
Yeah, I was as well. Year. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
It was a lot of like nose throat stuff. Like a lot of mucus that I did not have in the past.
Yeah. Dude, if you get around kids, that's the flu season is caused by kids. They go back to school, they stay inside in huddled little groups in school, they spread it amongst themselves and bring it home to mommy and daddy.
So what should we do with them?
Well, I don't have them. So
Lock them all up.
I didn't have the problem of having one.
They would do that in China, I imagine.
Oh my God, have you seen the videos from Shanghai?
Oh, about the pets.
Okay, let's just go down the list. Guys, this is not shitting on the Chinese people. This is shitting on the CCP. So let's just all understand that, okay? One, if you get positive tests for COVID, they just wrap your fucking dog or cat in a bag and throw it outside to die.
I saw that, yeah.
The fuck is that?
I saw them beating a dog to death with a spade as well. Did you see that?
No, I don't need to see that.
That was a video. The dog was chasing after its owners who were forcibly put on a bus having caught COVID.
Yeah.
And the driver, I think, or some staff member got out with a shovel and beat it to death and just left it there.
God.
It's like awful.
Dude, I followed a Redditor who did the whole thing on video.
Yeah.
And this guy gets on his bus at 9 o'clock in the morning and he just sits on the bus. They take him to a COVID center. They reject him. Tell him to go home and isolate. Mm-hmm. But then all the residents in his building don't want him to come home.
Right.
So he's just stuck on a bus for 12, 13 hours.
Really?
And then they finally put him in a COVID center somewhere and he just sits in a little cardboard box thing.
Yeah. No, it's a joke.
Awful.
Yeah, horrible.
And they got the Black Mirror dogs walking around, the robot dogs.
Have they?
Yeah, walking around the streets saying, wash your hands, wear a mask, let's beat COVID. Oh, wait, hold on a second on this, just a second. The dog, can you find the dogs, Chinese robot dogs announcing it's so fucking, it's dystopian.
Really?
And it's this woman speaking Chinese because I don't understand, it's subtitled, but I was just wow. You've seen the Black Mirror episode, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
It's crazy as fuck. And I was just oh my God. And then once you get into the centers, they're strapped. Here it is. Let's play this. It has the audio cut?
I have it cut.
Oh, just play it. It's fine. Isn't that dystopian as fuck?
That is weird, isn't it? I love how they just taped it to the back.
People in, I think this is Eastern China. People are posting this and they're what the fuck?
Oh, that's South China Morning Post, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh God. And then the other video that Josh was about to show us, the way that they're dealing with food is they're playing horseshoes for food in these centers. They can you show us the video that it's all these guys in hazmat suits, with people throwing rings on food on a plastic sheet, and they're oh, I got food, yay, I can eat today.
Oh my God.
No. And all these expats who are living in China who are finally realizing the CCP is not cool.
Yeah.
They're posting all this shit on social media, what's wrong with this country? Dude, why did you go there?
Yeah.
It's holy shit. And then there's, I saw this other video. It's out of food, but what is it? Quarantined in Shanghai. And so this dude put a little bit of bait on a fishing hook on a drone.
Yeah.
Flew the drone out of his apartment to a koi pond.
Right. You
can see the whole video. It's on YouTube. Fishes the koi out of somebody's koi pond on top of a building.
Right.
And brings it back to his house to eat.
My God. That's amazing.
This is what's happening in China.
That's great. That's innovation.
That's great.
I like that story. Yeah.
Oh my God, I would not want to be in China right now.
No, it sucks, doesn't it? And this is Shanghai as well. It used to be the liberal capital
the jewel, right?
Yeah, East Asia. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's found it. I think it was on Twitter originally. There it is.
Oh, there's a video there.
Yeah, they do just you can see it. This is taken from the drone, and you see the fishing hook is below the drone, and he just drops the drone down on the fishes, and they eat it because it's a koi pond. They're not expecting to be fished out, right?
Right.
And he catches it. He just pulls the fish out and takes the fish home.
That's insane.
To eat. Josh has got his hands on his head. He can't believe this shit. Drone fishing from your apartment.
That's a long line as well.
Yeah, and he's got to bring that shit home. It doesn't show at the end where he lives because it incriminated him. But Josh,
dude, he just invented a new sport. That's awesome.
We can do this in Kagoshima Bay. Right?
We got a couple of drones. Let's try it.
Yeah. Our drones are expensive. I don't want to do that. But imagine, and that's the thing is people are freaking out in Shanghai because they don't have food.
Yeah.
They just locked him up, and they're well, you don't have food. It's fucking starve.
Well, people are committing suicide and stuff as well, right?
No, I didn't even want to get into that. There's so many videos on TikTok and American the Western TikTok and on Twitter about people just lobbing themselves off buildings and shit like that. It's crazy. Ah, man. Anyway, so your little app in quarantine cuteness. Much preferred.
Yeah, that was better, to be fair. I mean, the thing with Japan is that, everybody's wearing a mask, but there's no regulation to actually enforce it.
Because it's not in the Constitution that my country wrote.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. I think it was just like an overlook. They didn't think about it.
The thing is, it's enforced by the populace, though, isn't it? So if you don't wear a mask, everybody's going to look at you, and
there's a lot of social pressure to do the right thing here, which is fine.
Yeah, but when you get rid of mask wearing and things like that, you've got to start a PR campaign to make everybody take them off again.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? It's hard to reverse the action.
Saw on Twitter a picture, I forgot where it's from. I think it's from England, and it's got a poster of people wearing a mask and saying, don't bully people who choose to wear a mask because they might have underlying illnesses. They might be having like frail family members and things like that. So in the West, it's the opposite. It's like people are wearing masks. They're like, you pussy, why are you wearing a mask?
You're wearing a mask for? Yeah,
fucking pussy.
Back in the 80s, though, you wore a seatbelt in the car, and people would go, what's wrong with my driving? You know what I mean? Do you remember that?
My mom refused to wear a seatbelt until like recently.
Really?
I was like, dude, it's like the 2000s, man. Wear your fucking 3-point invented in Sweden safety belt.
Mind you, your roads in America are all straight, aren't they?
But they're straight and hella fast.
Right.
And the drivers are idiots. Try not to use the word retard on the show anymore because I'm trying to not be woke, but I'm trying to clean it up.
Should we make a woke version of this podcast?
Just be
silence for an hour.
No, I'm trying to say dumbass instead of, because it is a discriminatory word. I'm trying not to use that word anymore.
Right.
It's like in the 90s when everything was lame, you'd call it gay.
Yeah.
And then it took me a while from when I was a kid, a teenager, to clean that word out of my vocabulary, my vernacular, but it's gone now. So I need to do that with the R word now.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, talking about dumbasses.
Yep.
Leader of QAnon Japan arm
is the one.
What do you think about, first of all, what do you think about QAnon?
What is it? It just seems like so ridiculous. I thought it was a made up story for...
It seems made up.
It does, doesn't it?
Every time you read a story about it, you're like, is this, and you have to check the URL to make sure it's not published in a weird magazine or something.
I know, yeah.
It's not The Onion.
There's a QAnon branch in Japan.
Yeah, a man who claims to be one of the leaders of the Japanese arm of a U.S. conspiracy. Please don't call it the U.S. conspiracy cult, even though it is. QAnon was arrested on Wednesday on suspicion of forcing his way earlier this month into a venue offering coronavirus vaccinations to children in Tokyo. So him and a couple buddies like barge into this vaccination center, and they say on that day roughly 10. They're called Yamato Q.
Yamato-Q. Oh my god.
Sounds like a convenience store. What can we get at the Yamato
Q?
Have they got a website? I hope they do. Can you Yamato Q, one word, Josh? Can you Google that? Can you Google that? Google what is it?
They do. No?
They barged into a clinic shouting, "Vaccination is a crime," and demanding to talk to the clinic's director. According to the police. They have a fucking website. Are you serious? It's only mobile version though. What is that?
So they're protecting the children and going back to a healthy Japan from the pedophile lizards that run the world.
Oh my god! Every single time, like you hear more and more explanations behind like QAnon and shit, you're just like, you can't make this shit up. The dude who
they literally can. That's the problem.
The dude heavily armed in America who stormed into a pizza place because he thought they were raping kids in the basement.
Really?
Yeah. Heavily armed. He stormed into a pizza place, and the people were like, "There's no basement in this building." Right. And he's like live streaming himself. He thinks he's a hero or something.
Oh god.
It was like. There's a subreddit called "I'm the Main Character."
Right.
All these people who think they're the main character in the world.
In the world, right. Yeah,
That's that dude.
Yeah.
He's the hero. Hail, hero! He's on a quest.
Well, I think I'm the main character, but in a very subdued plot. So I'm not doing a lot of shit, right?
It's film noir.
It's film noir. It's like one of those French ones where people sit around smoking cigarettes.
And you have to think deeply about it.
Yeah.
It's like, what just happened?
That's
what did I say?
I'm not in a Marvel action movie. That's for sure.
I'm in a Marvel action movie. I hope. I don't have the muscle for it.
No, definitely not.
I can't even be I don't even have the muscle mass to be like the Flash, who got arrested in Hawaii for the second time for drunkenly getting into a fight.
Did he?
Yeah, he can't keep himself not arrested in Hawaii.
That's good publicity, isn't it, for the movie?
Maybe. Well, it's not Disney, so they're not going to cancel him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What about Johnny Depp? You've been watching that, haven't you?
Johnny Depp's, oh my God. So if you guys don't know this, Johnny Depp is in a lawsuit with his ex-wife, and it's like publicized, like video of it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, not only is he hilarious on the bench,
yeah,
Like when he's being cross-examined by the defense attorney, because he's suing her for like $10 million, something like that, for defamation. It's hilarious. There's a reel of it. I think I'll send it to you, Josh. Maybe you can put this up. But like, there's a reel of him just like listening to the cross-examiner and just like making fun of him. It's hilarious. Anyway, one of the revelations that came out from his testimony was that the woman literally shit the fucking bed.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
she did a blumpkin in his bed.
Blumpkin.
And like fucking like the maid or somebody found it and sent a picture to him saying, "Did you do this?" He's like, "No."
Did you do this?
I sent you the blooper reel, but I don't know if maybe we should include that because it's probably copywritten. But yeah, what do you think about it?
It's a hilarious waste of time, isn't it? Really?
Do you think he's gonna win?
Probably, yeah.
I hope he does.
She does seem like a psycho. To be fair, you know. So you know, ultimately who cares? But it is some good entertainment.
There's this. They were talking about his drug usage because Johnny Depp's a drugger, and he's like, what did they say to him? He's like, "We heard that you gave drugs to Marilyn Manson," and his response was like, "What I did was I gave him a pill to shut him up." And like the jury is laughing. Right. It's like an audience for him.
Well, it's like his best role so far. It's like
it's like watching Captain Jack Sparrow on the bench in a modern environment.
Well, let's see how it unfolds.
All right, let's go to a fun story, a tourist story before I get into... Oh, no, wait. Let me do this one first, then we go to that one. Okay, all right. So the yen tumbles to a 20-year low at 129 level versus US dollar.
Yeah.
You know why it's falling? Because they call it monetary easing. They're just printing money.
More money, right? Yeah. It's not a good situation. Japan could end up being poor, really.
Well, they seem that it's fine because it's improving exports. There's two more stories about this. One is like Japan and US agreed to closely communicate amid yen's rapid fall. What are they going to do?
Say, please buy more things,
Like, and then finally, this is good news, is that Japan upgrades key economic assessment for the first time in 4 months. So the outlook on the economy is actually positive. But how long can they keep They did this during 2008, where this is where they created the whole idea of monetary easing.
Yeah.
And they did this in 2008. So he's the history guy. I'm the economics and news guy. Okay. So they did this in 2008 for the first time, which America hated. They said, "Fuck you can't do that." They took the whole thing to the International Bank and everything. And then America went, "Wait a second, that sounds like a good idea." And then America started doing it.
Start copying it, right? Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but it's causing inflation, one, which is never good. America's at like historic levels of inflation as well, and then two, like it's making the yen less. It's making it weaker. So when we want to, this affected me the other day. I was looking at video card prices.
Yeah,
they're through the fucking roof. They're so expensive because the yen is so weak. But then again, everybody's going to buy a Japanese TV and a car. So anyway, sorry. With that weekend, let's talk about tourism.
Okay, so we've got some tours to Hawaii resuming from Golden Week period. So Japanese tourists are going to be going back to Hawaii probably after Golden Week.
Yeah.
With the big travel companies, JTB, HIS, Kinki Nihon Tourist. Yeah, so going back out again, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for them, but not fortunate for everybody who wants to visit
what about
Japan,
inbound?
Right?
What's going on?
So no news on inbound tourism, right?
Super weak yen equals sign inbound boom, but they're not opening up.
Yeah, it's going to be a while though, because people are still kind of cautious about, COVID being spread. How are you going to control foreign visitors that come to Japan and don't want to wear a mask if there's no legal requirement to do so?
No, you can't.
You can't just look at them until they put it back on.
Well, you can, but they'll just be like, "What's your problem?"
Hey.
But in Hawaii, they don't have I don't know, Josh, you're from Hawaii. I think I've seen some of my friends, they've been on Hawaiian vacation and stuff like that. People are just normal. There's like nothing happening.
Yeah, from my understanding, like airports and stuff like that, people wear masks, but other than that, it's completely...
Judge ruled in America that the CDC has no right. They overstepped their authority to order masks on planes. And so
I've seen that, yeah.
All the airlines said, fuck it, because it was such a public relations nightmare with people freaking out on planes and, so basically it's optional now. So a lot of people are still wearing masks, but it's not a rule anymore.
Right.
So...
Well, somebody has come into Japan, though, recently. Jacinda Ahern from New Zealand was greeted by a giant, sad, dancing kiwi fruit, apparently.
Oh, my God.
Is there a video of this
somewhere? There is a video of this. We'll put a still up of it in the video podcast on YouTube. So read the story.
Well, it says that Jacinda Ardern came to Japan on her first trip outside the country in 2 years and was met by a duo of enormous, mournfully dancing kiwi fruit.
Dancing kiwi fruits.
So it was a bit of a surreal scene. On social media, it says things like, I feel a kiwi fruit have gate crashed a funeral, said one person. Another person said, so beautiful. So, you know.
Well, there it is on Twitter.
That is fucking weird. What is that?
Can you play the sound for us for just a sec? It's like incredibly like melodic. What the fuck? This is the most Japanese thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And
I
they're
love
playing
this.
shakuhachi to it as well, and piano.
Imagine being one of the fuckers inside that suit. Like, what are you told the morning of, oh, this important person's coming when you need to get you in the
seems to
suit?
sway side to side a little
Sway side to side and seems sad. Josh is like losing his shit over there.
That is just so dumb.
I love it. I give you guys all the fun stories. All right, let's get back to serious for just a bit, and then we'll do fun. Japan's ruling party to propose more defense spending eyes, moles, considers 2% of GDP. So I'd actually looked this up. I was like, well, because I thought America spent like 90% of its GDP on defense is what I thought.
Right.
Okay, so if Japan is thinking about 2%, what do you guys think that America spends GDP on defense?
America's like 3 to 4 or something like that. 4%.
You're actually dead on it. It's three, a little bit. It's north of 3, south of 4.
Right.
Basically. But that's still a ridiculous amount of money because the GDP of America is what, $17 trillion? What's the GDP of America for recently? I mean, it's like crazy. Anyway, I actually am for this. I think Japan should spend more on defense. I actually think that one of my big like pet peeves is when people talk to me about the bases.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you think about the bases? I was like, hey, here's my thing. You want to pay for your own bases? Do it. You know how much those things cost?
Yeah.
You know, like...
No, I don't actually.
They cost fucking, billions, if not trillions. What is it now?
It is almost at 21 trillion.
See, it's like, so 3 or 4% of that fucking ridiculous budget.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so like, I always tell Japanese people, I'm like, look, I don't care if they're there or they're not, as long as we're protected, and you choose who pays for them. If you don't want them there, pay for it.
Yeah.
That's going to see an increase in everybody's income tax of like 2 to 3%, but we can do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's always my thing. But anyway, I think Japan should spend more on defense. I think NATO finally fucking woke up after this Ukrainian thing, and they're like, oh shit, we need to actually upgrade our gear from the Soviet era.
Yeah.
And so it woke the whole world up, which I'm happy about. I don't think that America should be the world's police. I think that everybody should, collectively support NATO, not just all America. It's stupid. I don't think America should spend that much on defense. Anyway, sorry, got to get a little bit more serious here. Japan shifts to hardline stance on territorial dispute with Russia. If you guys don't know this, there's some islands in the north that Russia claim, Japan claim. There's also some islands that China claim and Japan claim, and I think that those stories are much to do about nothing.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to change ownership or anything.
What are they
like
going to do? Put a person on it and be like, this is Japan?
Well, I think there's oil reserves and stuff nearby.
On a couple of them, yeah.
Saber rattling just to, check your borders and things like that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to fun news.
All right. So, what should we go for?
Actually, let me do a fun one, then can you do the casino one after that?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Here's a fun one. Pro wrestler saves 10-year-old from girl from... let me try again. Pro wrestler saves 10-year-old girl from train station drunk. So there's a picture of this actually that we'll put up on the screen. There's this dude who's like Japanese pro wrestler, which, if you ever see these guys live, they're actually a lot of fun. They're a little bit different than American pro wrestlers in that there's a little bit less talking on stage, but it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
And they're all really big and muscular. This guy who's 188 centimeters tall, which is like 6'3" or something like that, is a big guy. He's sitting there. This is a hilarious story, so I'm just going to read it verbatim. Around 8:50 p.m., a drunk man, 61 years old, grabbed a young girl around 10 years old, waiting for her mother in front of the station bathroom. The Japanese pro wrestler, Great O-Khan,
okay,
it's the best name in the world, happened to be walking by and heard the young girl crying for help. In one hand, he held a McDonald's Sakura Mochi Pie.
Right.
And a bag of pancakes.
In the same hand.
In a bag of pancakes. So using his free hand, he put the drunkard into a hold. And anyway, he basically said he put this guy in a hold and wait for the police to come. Mm-hmm. And everybody was really happy about this because he's huge. he had a pie.
A kid in Kagoshima did something like this a couple of years ago.
What?
Yeah, there's I think he was in, was it Kagoshima or what? I can't remember. Some chikan, somebody groping somebody on the bus.
Chikan is like groping.
Yeah. He judo kid from one of the schools I used to teach at years ago.
Yeah.
Grabbed hold of this guy and took him to the Koban, the police office.
Really?
Yeah. Like dragged him off the bus.
Really?
Yeah. And it's in the newspaper, I seem to remember.
There's a lot of community policing here.
Yeah.
Where the community checks the community.
Yeah.
And I'm into that. I mean, everything doesn't need to be litigious or like, put people in handcuffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's cool. How old was he when he did that?
He was like second year of high school.
So he's a kid.
16, yeah.
Wow.
He was massive though.
Oh.
Not a little kid.
Every now and then, if you guys ever watch anime, there's always like the big guy character in the group of friends.
Yeah.
There is that guy in Japan in every group of friends. There's the big guy.
There's the big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The giant.
Giant.
No, from Doraemon. There's always the big guy in every anime, and in real life, every group of friends has the big guy. Sorry.
That was a deep insight into the modern Japanese cultural melee.
Get to the casino, please.
All right, so there's been a bid to build casinos in Japan.
You were involved in this a little bit. Asked to be a consultant.
I was asked to, but I said no. And one of the places in Western Japan has decided to pull out. So the place it's pulled out is Wakayama Prefecture.
Not Nagasaki.
No, Nagasaki's still in there. And Prefectural Cultural Assembly has said no, basically, and lost momentum behind bringing these integrated resorts, which comprise of a hotel, conference rooms, and a casino, gambling areas as well. So now Osaka and Nagasaki are still in. And at Nagasaki, they're going to build it next to Houston Boss, which is the Dutch-themed theme park place.
I hate that place. I've never been there. I never want to go there.
No, it's awful. It's like Amsterdam, but without all the interesting stuff. The drugs and the prostitutes.
But they have Henna Hotel, the weird hotel, with the robot check-in people.
No, I went to House in Boston. It's weird because I love Amsterdam and I've been there many times. Not for prostitutes and drugs, but just for
maybe for prostitutes and
drugs,
other
things.
But
no. But it's like a sanitized version of it.
Yeah,
it's like what you would kind of imagine Disney might think Amsterdam was like.
Yeah.
Which is not very interesting, to be honest.
But they have Hanabi. What is that? Fireworks.
Oh,
and they have Hanami, which is flower viewing.
Who cares? Okay. Next story. Let's go on. Yoshinoya, the popular beef bowl chain restaurant.
I think it's also in foreign countries as well.
Is it? I've never been.
Really?
Never.
You gotta go.
It looks awful.
It is awful. That's why you gotta go.
No, I'm definitely not going. And it's got carbs, which I'm trying to avoid.
Right. That's the thing.
Delicious carbohydrate.
You can't drink that if you don't do carbs.
What?
You can drink like vodka or like whiskey.
I know. But I'm ignoring that bit.
Okay.
Especially on the weekends.
Okay.
So Yoshinoya's executive has been dismissed over sexist remarks.
This is hilarious.
So he did like a talk at one of the universities in Japan, Waseda University, I think it was.
Why do they think that their mics aren't on if they're not in front of a whole bunch of people listening to them?
No, he was in front of a
That's
whole
what I'm
bunch
saying.
of people.
Like, why would you say something like this as though you were in private?
I don't know. I think he was trying to connect with the young kids, like to be edgy, and like it went wrong. So he said apparently his new dish, which is to target young diners, to bring them into the chain, because it's mainly seen as a male restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Would be like bringing green young girls from the countryside to the city and getting them addicted to heroin. So, yeah, a bit of an interesting statement there.
That's what I would say to a bunch of college students.
So some people took offense to that, of the inappropriate remarks, and they said actually he said it several times. It wasn't just once. He actually repeated it a few times throughout the presentation. And some people complained about it on social media, got to the press, and he's in trouble now. And there was a planned launch event on Tuesday.
You taught me a new word today. I didn't know
for
this.
Oyakodon, which is a chicken and egg bowl.
Yeah, okay, so
dish.
Oya is parent, ko is child.
Yeah.
So when you have a fried chicken with an egg on top of it, it's like the child and the mother together. So oyako is like the oyako don is bowl. That's what it means, right?
Yeah, and sometimes if you wanted to perhaps search for that on something like Pornhub, it might come up with something like inappropriate.
Mother, daughter at the same time.
Yeah. So I imagine he was thinking about making a joke about that as well. But
so they had an
decided not
Oyako Don event.
Launch event, yeah.
After the sexist comment that they canceled because it could be construed as a sexist event.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think.
Is it, like,
it doesn't say that, but that's the
implication.
That's the implication.
It's the if you guys ever
awful.
If you guys have never seen it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, watch the episode The Implication.
Oh right, okay.
It's The Implication.
I've never seen that show.
It's a great show. It's great. You can't stop watching it. It's like a train wreck.
Right.
It just keeps getting worse.
Nice.
Danny DeVito's on it.
Oh right, I like him.
Let's go to the next one as well.
All right, we've got a new story.
Speaking of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, this is you.
This is me right now.
Well, and me. Japan's hospital's glass half full approach to helping alcoholics quit. This is the first time I've seen this, so I've no idea what it says. Let's have a look. A hospital in eastern Japan has introduced a new and welcome approach to fight against alcoholism, bringing optional abstinence requirement while working to remove the stigma often associated with those who seek treatment for a drinking problem. So
basically, this facility, their MO is not you have to stop everything 100%.
But just cut
it's
down.
It's like balance. You know, the Japanese way, everything's done in balance.
Right.
You know, like you can have a couple cigarettes every now and then, just don't have a pack a day.
Right.
You know, that kind of mentality.
A moderation approach.
Moderation, right. So this is one of the first clinics in Japan that really says you don't have to, because alcoholic AA meetings are like 0. Here's your coin, never drink again.
Right.
But this facility is trying to teach you how to manage it.
Well, fair enough. I mean, if you're really, really addicted, I guess it's probably best not to. If you're waking up in the morning and necking a bottle of vodka.
Oh, no. I thought you said waking up in the morning still drunk, because that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, if I have to drive in the morning, I don't drink the previous night.
But you don't drink before a certain time in the afternoon as well, I'm guessing, right?
I never drink unless it's dark outside. Unless it's like a vacation day. If I'm on a cruise ship, I'm drunk the entire time.
Well, there are certain places where you're allowed to drink, aren't there? Any time.
Yeah.
Like
France.
On a train. Airport.
I was actually going to get us craft beer for today to drink on the show, because we filmed the show. It's like 6:30 p.m.
Yeah,
I was going to do that, but you have to drive home.
I've got training as well. I've got to go training.
You got to do Jigenyu. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So.
What was I going to say? Shit! I just thought of something. It went away. It's gone. It's gone now.
Well, it must have been super important.
Oh yeah, no. I was. Here's the thing. On the driving renewal thing.
Yeah.
They got a checkbox. I was talking about this in a previous episode, but they tell you, have you in the last year been alcohol has in the last year alcohol not left your system for 3 consecutive days?
What does that mean?
Like, have you been drunk for 3 days straight in the last year? And I was like, no.
You check slightly in the middle between yes and no.
Well, because like I sober up in the morning, right? Like I don't drink throughout the day. But then I was like, no. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, what question is this?
Yeah.
Self-reporting question.
3 days in a row.
And I asked my friend, he said, oh yeah, that gets tweeted all the time as a joke. It's like a meme.
Right.
I'm like, really?
Huh.
Anyway, go to your next. Wait, what's your next story?
Paternity.
Oh yeah, let's do that, and then we'll do fun stuff for the rest of the show.
All right, Japan firms tasked with encouraging paternity leave under a new law. Firms in Japan are trying to create a welcoming atmosphere for their male employees to take paternity leave as the country, which faces a low birth rate, seeks to increase fathers' engagement in child rearing with enforcement of this new law. So they're trying to get people to take paternity leave, basically.
So paternity leave is like daddy time off when the mom has a baby. But the reason why I wanted you to read that story is because you're the only one here with kids. What do you think about that? Would you take time off for paternity leave?
Yeah, why not?
Really?
Yeah.
When your kids were born, what happened? Like, I don't get paternity leave.
Which bit do you want me to explain?
No. Like, so they're born. Did you go to hospital? What was the?
I was at the birth both times, obviously.
So you were at the birth both times. Like, what's the? Take us through the steps. So water breaks.
The lady gets pregnant, and then 9 months later.
Yeah, which they say 10 months in Japan.
They say 10 months later, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Then
it's 9 months and 2 weeks, I think.
A child is born.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. That's it.
Yeah.
What do you want me? What do you mean?
No, like in America, like for example, like the father can be at the birth in the room with the video camera if they want to be.
So I was the catcher, basically.
You caught the baby.
Well, yeah, they were pitching, so somebody had to catch it. And yeah.
Do you guys cut the umbilical cord, or is it like a?
No, they wouldn't let me do that. I did ask, but they were like, "Nah, leave it to us." So I was like, "Well, you're a professional."
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah.
Then do you stay with the wife and while she's staying in the hospital for a week?
No.
You go home.
Yeah.
And then the wife usually goes to the parents' house, and then you don't see her for a month. That's how it works in Japan, right?
That does happen. But what happened with me is, so the hospital that my wife gave birth at was very close to where we live. It's like 5 minutes walk away. So she was in there for like about 5 days or 6 days, maybe a week. And I was at home for the first baby.
Yeah.
And then she came back, and usually they spend about a week, maybe a month. Is it a month? I think with the parents.
Yeah. They all of the people that I know they have the baby. They go to the mom's parents' house and they stay there for a whole month.
Yeah,
sometimes up to 3 months.
Yeah. So my wife's parents live close by, so she just came straight home.
So you guys kind of
we didn't do that. More Western style, I think, really. And then when the second kid was born, I was looking after our son, first child. In the interim.
So I just, maybe I'm stupid, but like, so as a business owner, like I had to deal with 2 fathers having kids. Yeah. Three. Mm-hmm. And like every time I was like asking, like 2 of them were foreigners. One was a Japanese guy, Hayato, who was on this show a couple weeks ago, maybe last week. And I remember sitting there, I'm like, because we don't have a policy for it and there's no like law for it. I was just like, do you need time off? And it was funny, like the different cultures have different responses. Hayato was like a day.
He would say that though.
He's like a day is fine. The other 2 foreigners, like they wanted like a week or 2 or something like that. And like my policy is like I kind of just like it's fine, whatever you guys want to do, as long as it's covered, it's fine. Yeah. But like at the same time, I remember asking people, I'm like, what do you do on paternity leave? What does the guy do?
Like be friends with your child.
No, because like again, all these guys, the moms took the kid to the parents' house and just disappeared for a month. So I'm like, what are you gonna do?
You don't have to do it at the same time, though, do you? You can do it slightly after.
Yeah. That I could kind of understand. Like kids coming home, we're gonna spend some time with it. It's kind of like when you get a dog.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, what would you actually do? Probably just like have your last spurt of single life.
Well, no, because a lot of my Japanese businessmen, when the wife has a child and goes home to the parents' house, they just go on a fucking party train.
Yeah. No, I've seen this.
For like a whole month, they're just like, going crazy. Yeah. Anyway, I guess if you listeners out there, if there's some like paternity stuff that you do when you have a baby, because I don't have kids, I don't have a wife, just let me know.
I think Japan's changing though. I think more people are going to be doing things in a slightly more kind of Western type way.
Yeah, I think it is, but I just don't get it. So
I don't get that going home and not going outside and stuff like that, and basically being trapped in the house for 3 months.
We are not doing that. No.
Weird.
Yoshi Transformation Hoodie gives you the stylish look of Super Mario's Dino Pal. So basically, if you can imagine this, it's a hoodie. It's got like spikes on it. You put it on, you look like Yoshi. How is this not already a thing is my question.
Who would wear that?
I would.
You would wear that?
My Fukushacho, my VP would. She's in love with dinosaurs.
My God.
Let's continue. Godzilla turns your signature into a king of signatures with the kaiju personal seals in Japan. Josh, if you put a picture up of this, it'd be cool. Basically, what's up?
Stop clicking your pen.
Oh, sorry. Last episode, guys, I was clicking my pen the whole time. I'm so sorry.
I do that a little bit, but nothing like...
I have issues. You give me something and I will fiddle with it until it breaks. That's why I don't have any accessories.
Right, okay.
I have an issue. I just have to fuck with it until it's gone.
I always snap this bit off pens for some reason. I don't know why I do that.
Do you chew anything? I don't chew anything.
Nah, I don't chew things.
I don't have an oral fixation, but I do click and press and fiddle.
Hello? Go on.
So basically you can get your name next to a picture of a bunch of kaiju, like Gidan and like Godzilla and Rodan and all those kind of places.
Why would you want that?
Because it's fucking awesome.
This is where Incan Hanko culture is on the way out.
No, it's booming. So what's the difference between the word Incan and Hanko? Like they're used interchangeably, but whenever it's written down, it's always Hanko.
Hanko's more formal seal, right? A bigger one. Yeah, pretty sure.
I remember when I lost my Incan right before I was supposed to press my seal for like a giant loan for my company, and like I couldn't find it.
Oh, Jitsuing. The big one.
No, not the company one, but my personal seal. And I had to get a new one really quickly because it was like signing day, and I had to go to like the city hall and register and everything. The only seal that I had was this kind of like novelty seal that I got from a guy that he got it from Korea. It's like it's made out of like endangered animal something, ivory or something like that, and then like the actual seal is like larger than a silver dollar. It's like gigantic. It's bigger than a 500 yen dama. And it's just like the most gaudy, ridiculous thing. and it's just because of that day it got registered, and I just leave it at my office.
Right.
And so everything Kyoka stamps for me using my signature is like that giant gaudy thing.
Right.
It looks like a pimp's seal.
But you need, what's it called? You've got Mitomi and whatever it's called, the small one, which has got your name on, like little oval or round one. And then you've got Jitsuin, which is like your official seal.
Yeah.
And that's not your company one. It's another one that's more fancy.
So I don't have the little one.
Right.
I have the official seal only, and that's
So
for both.
About that big, right?
Yeah, it's bigger. It's redonkulous.
Really?
Yeah. Like they almost didn't register it to me.
Right.
Because I have another small oval Incon that has my name written in English on it.
Right. Okay.
I spent to have it custom made.
Yeah.
Because it's a signature. It's written in cursive.
Oh, right.
They made my signature tiny in cursive. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
But they wouldn't accept it because it's in cursive.
Yeah.
So it became that gaudy giant thing. So that's my personal official seal.
Right.
So when it's a little tiny oval, it gets a giant seal on it.
Right.
It's retarded. I said it. It's dumb.
It's silly.
Silly. There you go. And then I have the 3 ones for my both companies. The 3 seals.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I've not used my income for a long time now.
well, they let you sign in a little oval now.
Yeah.
Put your little. I just circled the oval.
I draw a smiley face now. I always do a smiley face or one with sunglasses on.
What's your English signature like? Is it like really, really like complicated?
No, it's just really simple like that.
I don't want to show the whole world, but
I don't even write one anymore.
this is my signature.
Yeah, I just scribble.
It's literally like, it looks like a, I don't want to tell you guys because you're going to forge my shit, but it's really, 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 really.
I can forge that.
That's really simple. Anyway, let's go to your story, then we'll go to my last story.
Okay, we've got photos of complete strangers. Japan, Newt Strange. This is a spelling mistake, isn't it?
No, it's a newest, and they abbreviated it
Oh,
because they're silly.
there's no apostrophe.
Yeah.
Photos of Japan. The photos of complete strangers. Japan's newest strange and strangely compelling capsule toys. So you probably know the gacha machines that they have near stations.
They're like gumball machines, but giant.
Yeah, and full of crap. This isn't STG friendly, is it?
No, it's all
Plastic.
like injected mold plastic crap.
Junk. So the gachapon goodies, which are aimed at adults mainly, which is also very weird. You'll find lots of quirky and non-posable figurines, miniature art pieces, and that kind of thing. Stuff to put on your desk and brighten your day, or just to gather dust, I think. But recently, ID photos of complete strangers have been making their way into these gachapon things.
So weird.
It's weird,
Think
isn't it?
about a passport photo with a blue background and a person in a suit
Yeah.
of a random person in the little capsule,
Yeah.
and you fucking paid money for this.
Yeah.
What do you do with it when you get it?
Look at it and imagine write a story about what you think he did in his life. That'd be quite a fun thing to do, actually.
Fun little writing
Write
prompt.
a CV for him and apply for a job. That's what I'd do.
Dude, that reminds me of this Australian radio show who called a random person, and
Yeah.
they're pretending to be like an applicant for a job.
Right.
And they're like, dude, I don't have any, like, what are they called? Recommendations? Can you please be my recommendation? They're not going to call you, but
Yeah.
please do it.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, mate. It's like, cool. And then like 5 minutes later, they call him using a different person.
Right.
Pretending to be that business. And
Yeah.
the dude is like straight up the best. He's
Right.
like covering for him. He's like, oh yeah, we go back years. Known him forever. He's the greatest chap in the world. Oh no, he's great at soccer.
Right.
I was just like, holy crap. Anyway, last story today. Oh no, wait, I want to say one more thing about that gachapon thing. I think there's a reason for it. My Kyoka, my Fukushicha, my VP, she collects all of our used driver's licenses. I don't know why. She puts them in her cell phone, like in the case.
That's weird.
She's got all of her fucking used driver's license just like in her case. I don't know why. They're not hers.
I don't know. Maybe she likes to have embarrassing photos of you.
It's the weirdest thing in the world. Anyway, last story today. This is from Twitter. If you guys have ever seen, what is Biohazard? Resident Evil.
Yeah, Biohazard.
Resident Evil. It's called Biohazard in Japanese. All those movies, the made famous Mila Jovovich character.
She was famous before though, because she was in Fifth
Element
Element
and stuff like that. Yeah,
She was hot in Fifth Element. I like that.
Yeah, she was. And also you couldn't understand anything when she was saying, so she's super cute.
Even better.
We're just kidding around. But Mila Jovovich's daughter, which looks surprisingly just like her,
Yeah.
is apparently learning Japanese, and she posted a video on Twitter, which we're gonna hopefully put in the show and get all the copyright. We'll put the link in the description. Anyway, she's fucking beta. She's super good. Yeah. Like, watch it, guys. Look it up on Twitter. It's like, she says, as to why I'm studying Japanese, when I go to Japan, I want to be able to talk with everyone in Japanese, she explains, adding, I love Japanese culture and to show my respect.
Well, I have to get through immigration first. Good luck.
My SOS app.
Yeah, my SOS. You can film yourself on that speaking Japanese. I was mouthing insults at the person watching it while I was recording my face like that.
You were like, you guys, if you're out there in the West and you're thinking about learning Japanese, I think it's great to learn Japanese before coming here, but just remember that like when you learn in a foreign country and when you come here, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve, right?
Yeah, it's going to take you a little while to get caught up on like how people actually speak. So
Yeah.
I would recommend watch made for women television dramas,
Why?
because that will help you. If you listen and repeat, that'll help you practice your pronunciation.
Yeah, I wouldn't copy TV. It's a bit overacting, isn't it?
Well, no. Then you come here and you tone it down a little bit.
Tone it down.
Yeah.
Dial it in.
You can always tell if somebody's learned Japanese from anime.
Oh, God.
'Cause they fucking sound like a goddamn anime.
Yeah, that's true. But also, people with one Japanese parent abroad also speak like mama, goto Japanese.
yeah.
They speak like a kid, a baby.
But then
a lot of the
again,
time.
the anime man, Joey,
Oh, he doesn't. No, that's true.
He's fucking fluent. Like you can't tell. Like if you close your eyes, you can't tell he's not
Yeah,
Japanese.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
half Japanese, but
Yeah.
But he also, I think, went to high school in Japan.
Yeah.
So that'll do it.
I think that it makes a difference when a formative age to go there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even now, I started learning Japanese 25. So what, 16, 17 years speaking it.
Yeah.
Even then, it's still wonky. You know, I can't.
I mean, I started learning Japanese when I was 14.
Right.
And like even today, like I was like stammering through the word shuchu, concentration.
Right.
On the radio. Like Josh had to like pitch in. I was
Yeah.
also kind of hungover, so it helps. It doesn't help. But no, if you're trying to learn Japanese, like Netflix is great. They got all these Japanese programs in it now that you can turn to English subtitles with the Japanese audio and just learn it.
Yeah, just input as much as possible, isn't
Yeah.
it? Try and output as well. Copy.
Yeah. And then Mila Jovovich's daughter and everyone else out there, I hope that the country opens up soon so you guys can come here
Yeah.
and hang out.
Will do. I'm sure it will.
Damn, I think we went on for like an hour 10 or something like that. What's the time on it?
We're about an hour 15.
You know, I don't know how Rogan does it. He just sits for 3 hours with somebody. Well, he is drinking while doing it.
Well, that's true. And, you know,
Stoned
getting
and
paid
stuff.
huge amounts of money for it.
So
as well.
rich, so
Yeah.
rich. Anyway, guys, to us that aren't that rich, if you guys want to support the show, we have a Patreon link in the video description, or if you're listening to us on Spotify, also there's a Patreon link in Spotify's description, I think, right, Josh?
Well, any, what do you call it, podcasts?
Wherever you listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
like we're on everything, so there'll be a link to it. Or you can just search on Patreon for Small Talk Japan, and you get perks like hanging out on our Discord chat, doing like Q&A sessions with us, and all that kind of cool stuff. So if you want to be a patron, please check us out.
Yeah, speaking of which, we'll be having an AMA/hangout and drink on Discord this Golden Week. So if you sign up now, you'll probably make it in time.
Yay! All right, guys. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Dun, 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 dun. We still have to wait. So like it's not done yet. It's
Oh,
not
you're
done yet.
singing it out.
It's not done. It's not done. It's almost done.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.